Hey everyone. Sorry again. I know I just apologized at the end of the last the stream, my last video, but yeah, sorry again for like the lack of uploading. Um, my wife and I just moved across the country, so the past few weeks, month-ish, have just kind of been busy, to say the least. So yeah, but I'm back now, and I have joined. I have joined the Ribbon Masters League Season 3. Um, this season we are doing Little Cup, Gen 8 Little Cup National Dex Legacy. I don't know, it's got a pretty long name, but it's essentially any Little Cup, including like previous gens, like Hidden Power and stuff, is back. So, um, I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying that my competitive experience is very small. Competitive Pokemon experience. Honestly, the only competitions I've done have been, I don't remember if it was VGC 17 or 18, maybe both. But the online competitions where the shiny versions of the Tapus were like the prize. So I did those, but I did just about the bare minimum of battles you needed, and even then I didn't even do all the ones for all the shinies. So yeah, my actual battling experience is pretty small. I do like browse Smogon a lot. I think I have a pretty good idea of like how different Pokemon work. And I think I'm pretty good at like seeing the base stats, like the spreads, the typing, and abilities. Obviously not completely, because they kind of change abilities from generation to generation, but I think I have a pretty good idea, like looking at Pokemon, what the strong suits are. But again, my actual experience is pretty small, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just say that before I kind of get into this. So this is my team that I drafted. I'm the Pyrite Town Persian in this league. Here's that little logo I made in GIMP in like an hour. And yeah, so this is my my team. My first pick in because we did a draft format, a snake draft format. My first pick was Marini. I got really confused multiple times with how the draft worked. I eventually figured it out probably halfway through the draft, but if I went back, I don't think Marini would be my number one. I think I probably would change that to like Volibee or something, but yeah, I was just kind of confused there. Anyway, but this is the team I have. Based on like kind of me not realizing I don't know, me between my confusion and like figuring it out, I think I did pretty well. Obviously not. I mean, with the draft league, it's really hard to tell, and with me having like no experience, it's also hard to tell. But anyway, yeah, Marini was my number one pick. Grookey was my number two, and I think Meowth was number three. I don't remember the rest of the order there, but yeah. So we got Marini, pretty good, very good apparently in the LC. Meowth is just kind of, it seemed fun to me. Granados also seemed fun to me. Trubbish, one of my favorite Pokemon, but also seems it can hold its own pretty well in LC. Sandshrew, because I realized I didn't have any like Rapid Spin or anything on my team, so I ended up kind of sliding him in. Yeah, Gumi. Gumi, that was my wife's pick actually. As you see, like the tier 5s, I had to pick 4 of them based on like how the point system works. So my wife, I was like, what do you want me to get? She said Gumi, so that's why I have Gumi. Grookey obviously is, well, I shouldn't say obviously. Apparently, according to Smogon and other forums, Grookey is really good in LC. So that, and I could see, I don't know. I could see, like, if I read something that says, oh, this Pokemon's really good in this format, it's like, okay. But if I don't see it, like, looking at the Pokemon, like, at its stats and abilities and stuff, then I don't know. Maybe that hurt me in the draft, like, not picking those ones. But Grookey I could see, with Grassy Surge and Grassy Glide, like, I think that's a really good, strong combination. Arrokuda, honestly, I thought Arrokuda should have been, like, a higher tier. You can see it's a tier 4. There's tier 0, which is kind of like in the point system that you get to spend like half your points to get one of those. But then there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 6 tiers. Aircuda's on the second to bottom tier, and I thought, I don't know, it's move. Maybe I'm just, again, my lack of experience is showing here, but Aircuda, like, when I saw it and saw, like, his stats, I was like, wow, that actually seems like quite a steal, so, I ended up drafting it, and its move pool is a lot more, it's not super diverse by any means, but it's more diverse than I thought it would be. So yeah, Aircuda I was pretty happy with getting. These last three are kind of like, I just needed to fill out my team, and I try to look at like what I needed. So Duskull I ended up picking just possible Trick Room stuff if I wanted to do that. I've looked a lot of priority and a bit of speed on my team as well, but I was kind of thinking of Cranidos, and if I was ever going to use Cranidos, like I think I would need some good speed control, and Trick Room kind of helps with that. Chikorita, I can't remember what I was thinking when I drafted it. Not saying that was a bad thing, but I don't know if it's just like my personal bias, because Chikorita is one of my favorite starters, or if it was just like, I mean, it has some decent bulk, but everything I see it says that like, oh, other Pokemon does what Chikorita does better, which may be true, but in a draft format, like I'm not going to be seeing this Pokemon every week, you know. So I think that was kind of my mindset picking Chikorita. Again, I don't really have any plans for Chikorita or Zubat for that matter. Zubat, I think the only reason I picked it was because it was the fastest Super Fang user left in the draft. And I think Super Fang is a really funny move. So yeah, that and that Poison type's my favorite type, so I ended up getting 3 of them. But yeah, so that's the team I drafted. Kind of brief explanations there. And then week 1, we're going up against Biggest and their team, the Quebec Rampardos. This is their team. It looks pretty good to me. Again, I'm going to say it for the millionth time. I don't have like good, decent, really any competitive experience, especially not in Little Cup. But I do know Barnyard is trouble. Dark and Steel is a great combination offensively as well as defensively. So it's kind of like the jack of all trades, or however you want to phrase that. Yeah, so Barnyard is pretty scary, but I think I'll show you my team I'm bringing in a second here. Yeah, so Barnyard is kind of scary. Pumpkaboo is actually what I'm scared of the most this week, though. I don't really have a solid check to Pumpkaboo. I did what I could, I guess, that I thought would be best, but Pumpkaboo is kind of scary to me. Tailo is also, I think it's his fastest Pokemon on his team, on their team, sorry. But I think it's just speed, you know, kind of like Meowth on my side. Like I think it's just speed is the thing. Yeah, so I don't really know about that. Baltoy is kind of scary just because it's Psychic, and Psychic is pretty strong against my team. I don't really have like a solid check to Psychic. But it also spins, it's immune to ground. Yeah, Baltoy is a good pick. Sizzlipede, I don't know. Centiskorch is more bulky than I thought it would be, so maybe Sizzlipede is as well. But I think I have some good fire checks. Bergmite, same thing, like an ice type. I don't know. See, that's the thing, is like, you can see it's a tier 5, so I don't know if they just drafted it because that's like all they could, or that was intentional. Amara can be scary, just kind of how it sets up, but I think I have some good checks to that. Galarian Farfetch actually scares me as well. I don't have a solid, like, I don't have anything that's super effective to fighting. I have obviously, you know, several poison types, but I don't have anything that could, like, you know, easily take it down. So these two I'm pretty worried about. Goldeen is actually, I think, is actually pretty scary. I'm just going off memory right now, but I think Goldeen can be kind of scary with just its abilities and stat spread. Surprisingly strong. Not like strong, but you know, stronger than you'd think. Grubbin and Venonat, again, I'm not really worried about those two, but yeah. So going into this week, I was kind of like looking at what I have versus what Biggest has. And these two, Pumpkaboo and Farfetch, are really what kind of stuck out to me. As far as what I should be worried about. Obviously, Barnyard's always a threat, but yeah, I guess you'll see here in a sec that I think I prepped pretty well for Barnyard. I think maybe you'll be sitting here thinking like, oh, you're dumb rookie, which is fine. That's That's why I'm doing this, is to get more experience. So here we go. This is the team I have for week 1. Here we have Grookey. I kind of just did like the standard, or I think standard, whatever Smogan says was the best move set and kind of thing for Grookey to have, minus Woodhammer. I don't think he really has anything like super resistant, or the things that are resistant to Woodhammer, like, I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I think this is like the best for what I have. Like Drain Punch with Life Orb should be really good against Pawniard. Obviously Fake Out and U-Turn, Fake Out always kind of helps get that chip damage. U-Turn to switch out whenever I need to. And then Grassy Glide and Grassy Surge, I think whenever I saw that as like, that this line's like ability, I was like, that is super broken. Yeah, so I was like, that's just kind of like a staple, I think, on any little Grookey set. And then Drain Punch again, that's to keep Grookey healthy throughout, but mostly for Pawniard. I'm sure I could have done like close, well, I don't know if it gets close combat, but yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say with Grookey, other than that's just what I think will work the best. Kind of be like a standard set. With Trubbish, this is there's a couple sets through here that I might change before we actually start battling biggest. This is one of them. At first, I gave Trubbish a Rocky helmet, kind of cheeky, like to kind of hit, any knockoff usually just kind of like scare them away. But I think Eviolite is probably better, just for that bulk and longevity. Same thing as Drain Punch, just to keep it healthy, keep it longevity. I feel like I'm going to be switching a lot between these two, a lot of pivots, which might not be a good idea, but I think that's kind of what I'm planning on against Biggest. Gunk Shot, just for that strong physical stab. I'm not a huge fan of the accuracy, but yeah, I think that's just, I hear LCE games are pretty short, so yeah, so that's a good choice, I think. And then these last two are kind of the ones I'm thinking I might switch. Not so much spikes. I think getting some sort of like chip damage off is always good. I think I might lead with Trubbish. I might lead with Goomy later, but I'll show you that. Yeah, so getting spikes out would be good, but Autotomize, that's kind of the one I'm not too sure about. Most of his team outspeeds Trubbish, but I think I already have a lot of good speed control that I'm bringing, so that's why I'm not too sure. I might Autotomize just to get like spikes out quicker, but if he brings if they bring Baltoy, then it might not matter much. But that's why I gotta take out Baltoy as quick as I can. I don't know. I guess that's kind of my plan. All right, next we got Meowth. I'm bringing Meowth. I was looking at kind of around like what Meowth can do, and Smogan says the thing is like, oh, Meowth suffers from like the 4 move slot syndrome or whatever, which is true. Meowth can do a lot of things, but it only has 4 move slots. So yeah, this is one I'm kind of, I don't know. This is kind of my experimental set. I think I already have good Pawniard checks, but if not, then I think this is pretty good. But I think Fire and Electric kind of hit his team pretty well. So yeah, Fake Out, obviously just a strong stab, chip damage, and then Nasty Plot with the Sash. I'm planning on bringing Meowth kind of in late game, if possible. Just to set up Nasty Plot and kind of start sweeping. I just have to make sure I get rid of Baltoy first, because I think that's the only thing that can really get in the way there. But yeah, I was thinking like using Hyper Voice, but I just think, Thunder has like the chance of paralysis, but it's also good on more of Biggest's team than Hyper Voice would be. So yeah, that's Meowth. Next up we got Marini. Obviously this is kind of like the state, like one of the core of my team. My whole like roster actually, and I did another like a standard just kind of Marini set, just kind of a nice pivot, spread, burn, knock off. Obviously recover to keep it healthy. Regenerator also. So yeah, I feel like I'm kind of mixing like hyper offense and also like stall stuff, which might be true, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I think Marini, it's pretty easy to kind of fit on different teams. I can pivot between Marini and Trubbish pretty easily. But the problem is they're both poison types. So the Marini I did a little more bulky on the. I guess I did them both pretty bulky on the special side. So that should work out just fine. And then Aracuda, my next one. This is the one again, like I think it has a pretty decent move pool here. So I gave it Life Orb, Swift Swim, just because the other abilities really only good for doubles, but also because I'm going to be bringing Rain Dance on Doom here, but I'll get to that in a sec. Aracuda, just max attack, max speed. Jolly, just a little more speed control. With Life Orb, I already think that it's going to be doing pretty well. Close combat, obviously, for Pawniard. This is what I mainly wanted to bring against Pawniard. Aqua Jet, obviously just priority. Crunch, this is again for Baltoy. So I'm going to be leaning on Aracuda a lot, which is kind of scary, but I think it'll work out. And then Liquidation, again, just for a strong physical stab. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good set for Aracuda. And then Gumi, when I was trying to round out the team, I really didn't know what else to bring, for being honest. So I was kind of leaning on Gumi just because it's another kind of bulky, not quite a pivot, but it can do some tech things, I guess. So I just did, kind of max out his HP, put some in defense, put some in speed. The speed, again, I don't think it's really going to be outspeeding a whole lot, but that's more just so I can get like, I don't know. This whole thing is just kind of to mess with Vegas' team. Rain Dance obviously will help a bit of my team, actually. You've got Aracuda, obviously, but then Marini as well. But yeah, so Rain Dance kind of helps with that. So this might be another lead. It's probably going to be Gumi or Trubbish. But then Infestation, that's kind of my like gimmicky like move. So you kind of trap them in, and then maybe like Thunderbolt or Dragon Breath, just more speed control. Get that paralysis, get that whatever. So yeah, that is kind of what Gumi is there for. That is my team. And yeah, you might be here thinking like, oh, Grunky, you're an idiot, and that may be true. But hopefully this all works out pretty well. If I don't get the win, I at least want to get some decent experiences. Like, oh, like here's what I can do to tweak these sets. Because I feel like I just kind of went based off like, what I read about. Like again, like this is a really standard set, and so is this. So yeah, I'll be back whenever we start the battle with Vegas. Sweet, I'll be right back. Okay, hey everyone. So this isn't a live recording. I thought I was recording it live, but OBS kind of crapped out on me. So so we're just gonna go through the replay here. Yeah, so this wasn't quite the team I thought Swigus would bring. I wasn't expecting Grubbin or Goldine. The other four, I said it earlier, I was really scared of Pumpkaboo. But yeah, so yeah, I wasn't quite expecting this team or this lead, as you'll see here. So I led with Grookey, and Swigus led with the Grubbin, and I'm like, oh, okay, so not only did Swigus bring Grubbin, but Swigus led with Grubbin. And yeah, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just, fake out to maybe scope for something. So that's what I do. Fake out, and then flinch, right, obviously. And then I U-turn out just because, I wanted to preserve Mac as much as I could. Marini can take pretty much anything. That right there is gonna come back to haunt me throughout this entire match. I didn't plan for Grubbin at all, but I definitely did not plan for Sticky Web. Really any hazards for that matter. I should have, you'll see. Okay, I won't go to it quite yet, but so yeah, I was not expecting sticky web. I'm like, yikes, that's bad. But I'm like, what can I do here? So I knock off, just seeing what I can. There goes the EV light. Volt switch. I forget, you know, Grubbin isn't an electric type, but since it evolves into electric types, it obviously gets electric moves. So I did not plan that well. That was a bad switch for me. Probably should have went into Trubbish there instead, but well, live and learn. I joined the league to learn, so yeah. So I was like, yikes. So Namora comes out. I'm like, okay, I have the type advantage here. I'll just, but because I didn't know what Amora did, excuse me, I hit recover because I'm like, yikes, it's definitely faster than me. But Aurora Veil, I'm like, shoot, shouldn't have done that. But I'm like, I still have the type advantage, so I'm gonna hit Scald. Oh, but Freeze Dry, yikes. So I'm like, okay, so it's going to Freeze Dry again, right? Because that'll just take me out. So I'm like, okay, so I need to switch out then. Luckily, I did get the burn there. So I put in Trubbish just because Trubbish is another wall I can have. But look, he predicted the switch. Big Swiggus, sorry, predicted the switch perfectly and set out rocks. Another thing I did not prepare for like I should have. Yeah, that was very frustrating to see both of these stacked up there. There's Baltoy. I'm like, okay, good. Baltoy, I'm going to go ahead and boost my speed up since, you know, the sticky web came out. And I'm like, Baltoy isn't like super bulky. So I Autotomize, and then Hail goes away, which is good. And I Seed Bomb. Look at that minuscule damage. See that? And then Baltoy uses Scorching Sands. Yikes. Right? Yikes. So I'm going to Speed Bomb again, hoping for a crit, because I really don't want to switch in anything. Oh, look at that. The freaking Berry Juice. I was like, wow, Baltoy, you were doing some good work already. And then the burn from the Scorching Sands, which is very unfortunate. I didn't have much, if any. I think I maybe put like enough for one stat point of attack into Trubbish's attack. Just because I was planning on being just like a pivot between Marini and Trubbish, but I did not account for hazards. So going forward, I'm like, well, I can't just keep switching between the two of them. Maybe Marini I can with Regenerator, but yeah. So burn. At least I'm faster now, but it's now max health behind the screens, and yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and switch out to Mac because that's a good type advantage. There's not really anything Grookey can do on me, especially with Scorching Sands. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I fake out just for some chip. Right there, I probably shouldn't have faked out. I probably should have just Grassy Surged or Grassy Glided. Here comes Grubby. U-turn takes it out, which I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm happy with that. Not knowing what to go into, mind you, I was like, okay, I'll send out Goomy, right? Because Goomy, I just kind of threw Goomy on the team. So yeah, so I was just like, I guess I'll just throw in Goomy because I didn't want to get rid of Trubbish or Marini yet. And so that's what I did. And I go back to Mora, get that snow up. So I'm like, okay, at least with Goomy right now, I can Rain Dance to get rid of this hail, like the hail residual damage. So, but of course, they're faster than me, so they still set up the Veil. There's Rain Dance. And then I'm like, well, I again don't want to switch into anything. Just because of the hazards that I did not account for. It was very, very silly of me to not account for those. So he's Thunderbolt on Mora, but I should have predicted the switch. I was thinking that turn actually I took a little while thinking on because I was like, oh, I can do Dragon Breath, and maybe get the paralysis, but I was like, no, there's no way Mora switches here, right? But I kept thinking back and forth. I'm like, see, a Thunderbolt, a Dragon Breath. So obviously I went with Thunderbolt. Swiggus switched. Unfortunate for me. And then the Surge goes away. Oh my goodness. The trick. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This ball toy is doing so good. It's actually putting so much work. I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. I can still KO you, right? So I used Infestation to try to keep it in. That's the entire reason I brought Infestation, was to trap, right? So that's what I did. Also get some chip damage. So Ice Beam. That's without Eviolite. So this was actually kind of nice for me. Without Eviolite, again, the ball toy didn't get stabbed, but I still took that pretty well with no investment. I didn't put any Sped F investment in here, so that was pretty okay for me. I was okay with that. Dragon Breath, again, just to get some paralysis. I don't know why I switched there. Looking back, I do not know why I switched there, because I really shouldn't have. Sticky Web, Stones, Ice Beam. That's why I switched. It's like, oh, I can just resist the Ice Beam. Oh, I remember now. Goomy, I was like, okay, I can keep it alive. As soon as I get rid of this ball toy, I can have it back in. Or as soon as I get rid of Amara, I can have it back in instead of Rain to help my water types that I have. So yeah, so Marini also resists the Ice Beam. Scorching Sands. The crit. Very, very frustrating. Again, I totally forgot about Scorching Sands, which is silly of me. I just should have remembered that. Because had I remembered that, I would have switched into Trubbish instead. Just because I'd rather have Trubbish go down than Marini. So yeah, that was really frustrating to me. I was not happy with that. But, you know, Swiggus is playing a great game so far. I can't really, I mean, obviously crits are annoying, but I can't be mad at that. Because even without the crit, I don't think the crit really mattered there, or it wouldn't have mattered because there's nothing behind the screen. I bet it would have survived the Scald, especially since Rain was gone. But so yeah, that's really unfortunate. So this is the time I bring in Aracuda just so I can get rid of this annoying ball toy. Ball toy is so good. They switch in Goldeen, Liquidation, and then I had to switch because I was like, oh, why did they bring in Goldeen against Aracuda? Mega Horn, that's why. I'm like, well, shoot. So I sacrificed Goomy there. I think that was the right call. Right here, I should have switched in Grookey because Goldeen activated the GUI, so it got the speed drop, which was good. But I didn't really, I don't know if I didn't realize that or what. I said, oh no, because I did not want that to happen, right? So I should have switched into Grookey there. I know Grookey's already at like 50%, but I could have Drain Punched or something to at least get it back up, because I think it probably would have lived the Mega Horn with the Eviolite still. But instead I went to Aracuda. Mega Horn just takes Aracuda out right away. I'm like, sweet. So now I go into Grookey, and here's, you know, this is a situation here where I'm like, yikes. I'm like, I probably should Drain Punch, but I need to start getting some momentum on my side. I can't let this freaking Goldeen sweep me. So I ended up just Grassy Surge, or Grassy Gliding, dang. That Okos, which was nice. But this is the situation I find myself in now. Well, I kind of gave it away. I was like, okay, I just have to Drain Punch now. That's the only way I can kind of win from here is Drain Punching. So I clicked Drain Punch, but obviously, I totally did not account for Sucker Punch either. That was really silly of me, but Sucker Punch just takes out Grookey. Really good call by Swiggus. Swiggus did so well. So now I'm like, well, now or never for Meowth, because Trubbish is at very low health. I'm like, Meowth, I'm like, it's probably, so I bring in Meowth mostly because I think Pawniard's gonna go for Sucker Punch again. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my fancy stuff and hit Nasty Plot. So that worked out well. Pumpkaboo came out on the Switch, and I was able to get a free Nasty Plot up. My sash is broken, right, because of the freaking rocks I didn't account for, but that's fine. And then I have HP Fire, so that I was able to OHKO Pumpkaboo, which was nice. I don't know what they had on Pumpkaboo. I honestly wasn't expecting that, but I guess Nasty Plot is that good. And then now I have my sash back, so I'm like, okay, maybe I can swing something here. Like, maybe something good can happen. I don't know. But they bring in Amora, which was a really good call, because Hail will break my sash. And Blizzard will, too. But HP Fire was able to KO that. And then I'm like, right here, I was like, okay, it's pretty much GG. Because even if they were bringing in Pawniard, they would, Sucker Punch and then Baltoy. I don't have a stab against it. Like, everything, in fact, with Meowth is weak against it. Same with Trubbish, except for Seed Bomb. But I would have been outsped because of the sticky web. So there's Baltoy. Rapid Spin takes me out. It gets a speed boost. I always forget that's how it works. But yeah, and yeah. So yeah. Really good game to Swiggus. That was just really well played. Yeah. So for next week, I'm really gonna have to look at my opponent's team. I can't remember who it is right now. But I'm really gonna have to look into it and see what shenanigans, because I don't want another grubbin thing. Because looking back, right, my lead probably, obviously hindsight is 2020. I don't know if I should have led Grookey. Oh, maybe Grookey was the right call. But how I built Goomy, Goomy was more of a lead, right? Just how it's built. So I should have. Grookey's always a safe lead with fake out U-turn. But honestly, it shouldn't have been Goomy in the first place. It should have been Sandshrew. If I had Sandshrew, this wouldn't be here, and this would have been a much different battle. Honestly, I'm surprised it was a 2-0 finish. But yeah. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Again, sorry the OBS didn't cooperate here. I was really hoping to get you guys could get the live reactions, but hopefully next week that'll work, and hopefully next week we get a W. Awesome. Again, honestly, really great game for Swiggus. They did a really good job preparing, and really good job playing. So great job, Swiggus. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. I don't know if it'll be a stream. Hopefully I'll start streaming again soon. Within a week, I hope to have go live on Twitch again. So follow me on Twitter if you don't. That's usually where I'm most active. Twitter and Discord, the Pokemon Ribbons Discord. Those are where I'm most active. So yeah, cool. Grunky Peep on both, and I'll see you all next time.